Hello. Today we're going to be doing marker rendering of the little setup on the Michientes paper. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is go into the walls and the floor. So for the walls, I guess, I'm going to use, start with YG82. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to have the shape of the chair sort of created by the negative space so that I can erase some of the pencil because it's going to be like a light pink color, and so I want to be able to erase some of that pencil so that the edges don't have a graphite frame on them. So I'm just coloring right outside the pencil lines of my chair. And the wall doesn't have to be particularly smooth. It can have variation, so you can decide how smooth or textured you want your wall to be, as long as it's purposeful. And remember, you don't want to press too hard when you're drawing on the Michientes paper, because one, it'll suck your markers dry, and two, you'll end up with spots that might be difficult to blend away, and if you don't want them, then you're kind of stuck with them. Okay. And I'm going to do something that I don't usually do, which is I'm going to draw in the lines of my cat. Yes, that's a cat, Connor, with a micron pen. It's going to be a dark cat, but the floor is also going to be kind of a darker gray. And so I want to be able to differentiate the cat from the floor. And the floor is going to be polished concrete, so I'm going to eventually have to reflect all these things down into the floor. And I also, that's another reason I want to differentiate the cat. So we'll just do that there. And then I'm going to start coloring on the floor with cool CG2. That's the reflection of the table. Here's the reflection of the chair legs. And reflections reflect down. There's the reflection of the cat. I forgot I was going to go over the canvas on the wall with the same color as I do the wall, which is YG82. All right. The table, or yeah, the table and the chair legs are wood. So I'm going to start with those using, which one? YR45. And on this one, I'm just going to hit the darkest parts first before I color in the whole thing. That's that seam, and that's this inside cutout of the table. And doing that made me realize I did not color the floor in that cutout. So I'm going to do that with my CG2 again. I'm going to, let's see, start with the kitty. And I'm going to use Cool Gray 3. And I'm gonna hit the chair with a layer of R21. This is gonna be my lightest, it's gonna be pink. This is my lightest pink. So I'm gonna go just inside the pencil lines so that I can erase those lines and not have them become part of the markering. So I'm just inside. It doesn't matter that much if you're doing darker colors with the pencil, because it'll just cover it. But when you're doing light colors like pink or yellow, any of those, then it can get kind of muddy. Okay, I realized I forgot to do the back armature, so I'm going to use the YR45 again. Now I'm going to erase the pencil lines on my chair. Let that dry a little bit. Okay. I'm going to work on the painting for a second, so I'm going to use YG15. When you're putting artifacts on the walls in your room designs, just go easy. You do not want them to be that specific, otherwise it's going to take away from the overall design. And then I'm going to use BG13. And I'm gonna use E46 to color back into the same part of the table that I colored the first time and darken it up a little bit. And I'll go on the far edge of the lakes. Okay. And now I want to bring in a little variation into the polished concrete floor. So we started with a layer of CG2. Now I'm going to add CG3. Concrete is uneven in its coloration, so think about that when you're doing something like this. And one of the things you have, it's just kind of like with water, is you have reflections down, but you also have to maintain a surface. So we'll do that by sort of coloring a little more horizontally here. All right, I'm gonna use my second pink color, which is RV22, and I'm gonna go into the seams where pieces of the chair connect to other pieces of the chair. And the back edge. And the underneath edge. And then this side, if you think about the light coming down, this side will be darker than the top side. So I'm just going to fill that in. And I'm going to go back into the table with YR45, and I'm going to do everything except for the top. I suppose I should do a little bit of work on my kitty cat. So I am going to use Cool Gray 5 and create her reflection underneath here. And then I'm going to use my micron pen again, just to give the reflection a little more definition, and the underside of Kitty. And I'm going to use my Cool Gray 5 to put in even a third value onto, nope, sorry, I'm going to use Warm Gray 3 on my concrete floors. When I do something like concrete or stone, I like to do a little mixture of cool and warm grays. wall reflects down as well, so I'm just going to do a little bit of that. Now, when I'm drawing on some kind of toothy paper like the Michiente's paper, if I want to smooth it out, I will use my colorless blender so that it doesn't use up all the pigment. So I'm going to use my blender to blend the wall a little bit and the floor. All right, I'm going to use RV22 again and go around the back and then go around everything. I fill in everything that I filled in before. I'm going to go into the cat with Cool Gray 5, and just where there's going to be shadows, I'm going to do that. Imagine the top will be lighter. I'm going to do a final layer of YR45 on the table over the whole thing. Including the top. I am going to use RV34 on the chair to go in for the darkest value here. And that's, I'm going to go in where the seams are. And the bottom here. And I just want to touch up with my RV22 a little bit more. then my last layer will be one layer of R21 over the whole thing. Let me take a little bit of black and go into Kitty here. I don't want to use too much black. Even if you're trying to depict something that's black, it's best to use that really sparingly and sort of hint at everything with gray. It's hard to come back from black. So and I'm going to go over whole Kitty with WG3. Cool Ray 5, sorry. I think I'm going to be done with the markering, and now I'm going to go into colored pencils. So I'll start with brown and hit the side of the chair legs. Also, just you'll notice that when we're coloring on Mi Tiente's paper, or if you're coloring on any sort of toothier paper than that, I don't use the side of my pencil because it's already textured enough. The side will kind of make things look just like the bumpiness of the paper. So now I'm going to address the table a little bit. And then I'm going to take my green pencil and do very little up here. Just give the horizon line a little hit. Maybe just not that straight. Maybe loosen it up a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take my white pencil and I'm going to hit highlights. Oops. And I'm going to take my red pencil and just tighten up the chair a little bit. I don't want to make a full contour line around everything, but where there's seams or where one part meets another part, this is a little punch line that can tighten things up for you. Okay, so now I'm going to take my micron pen and just do a little bit of, again, what's called a punch up, just to kind of exaggerate things a little bit. Now, this is going to look a little bit like contouring, but we're not circling everything. So we're just going to use a straight edge And on the side of the legs. And I'm going to give Kitty a little bit of an eye. So let's see, we've got it over here, and then here, and then a little snout. A little bit of hair. I'm going to use my white pencil one more time just to give Kitty a little differentiation here. All right. And I think I'll be done with this, except that I do want to just add a little something on the table. I like to put things on surfaces so it has a little more character to it. So I'm going to go with my standard martini glass, and I take my green pencil, my red pencil, and my micron pen, and now I have a little bit of a martini. Oh, I forgot. I also want to bring back the surface of the concrete. So we do that. We can do like you do on water, little surface. So we know that this isn't, you know, the reflections are reflecting, but it's not, you know, it's got a surface on it. So, and then we can give a little texture. Okay, that's it.